All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in on a Friday. It's Greg's favorite day of the week. We made it, didn't we? We made it. And I'm not one that likes to wish my life away, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like Andy Hoosier. I love Mondays, always have. Isn't that a song, Greg? I love Mondays? Wasn't that like a punk rock song or something back in the 90s?
Not a song I would listen to.
Well, I can't. You threw me for a loop on that one. I wasn't actually thinking of the days of the week. But yeah, I think that was...
I don't recall one.
Mondays. Oh, that band was called the Sundays. I don't know. Whatever. We'll get to it. We have got a lot to talk about today, guys. And honestly, let me say this. I got up at 3 o'clock this morning, let the dog out. She woke me up. Said, "Take me out, Daddy." So I did. And then I just stayed up, made a big... So let me just give you the coffee routine now, because this worked. The blackout coffee, I made a big cup, with one of the tumblers.
Okay.
And I only hit 12 ounce in it. And I looked, and it was finished brewing, and it was still only half full. And I'm like, nah, I need more than that. So I figured, let me just leave the grounds in there, because if I had made a 16 ounce, it would have still been with those grounds, right? So I just reset it for another 6 ounces, made another cup. Got 2 cups out of that same deal. So I had, I guess the equivalent, I had 18 ounces of coffee to start my day at 3 o'clock this morning. And I'm on apple juice and a 200 milligram Kirkland Costco energy drink. And I probably need that like as bad as I need a bullet wound, but that's okay, since this is Armed American Radio. Guys, if you want to watch the program live here in the CZ studios, you can do so on Facebook.com. Greg, I'll let you do your deal, and then we'll get going, because I'm going to anger you today, ladies and gentlemen. That's what kept me up, and we'll get started. Greg, take it away, brother.
Sure, other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. You can watch us over on X at AAR Mark. You can also head over to the website, armedamericanradio.org or .com. Hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. Lastly, if you'd like to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, and that will bring you in. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, again, and to all our new affiliates across the country. It's great to be with you today, all across the country. Paul Markel, student of the gun, joins me right now. Now, Paul, I see you have a different background here. We're used to seeing you relaxed on a couch, and we see some of your work-related items behind you. Would you care to tell us what's going on?
Get it shut down. No, I'm in the garage because I have a house full of grandkids.
Oh, okay. John Petrolino was on the show yesterday from Bearing Arms, and it wasn't until after the show he sent me pictures of his little Shih Tzus, who I didn't know he had Shih Tzus like I do. We love our Shih Tzus here at the house. I have a sign right out front of the studio that says, property protected by a Shih Tzu protected by my guns. And that's true. And he had little Shih Tzus carrying socks around the whole time he was on the air. They were bringing him socks to play with while he was on the air yesterday. I thought it was kind of cool. I guess if I said it was kind of cute, that would be kind of, not that there's anything wrong with that, but Paul.
Well, so I have the answer for you. You want the answer?
I do.
All right. The song is called "I Don't Like Mondays" by the Boomtown Rats.
That's it. Yes. That's it. Thank
Appropriately named.
I don't like Mondays. I'll have to remember how that goes. I might throw that up I can't play it on air. See, because it's a copyright strike. But yeah. I'll pull it up myself and remember that. Maybe I'll sing a little bit of it when we come back for you, just because. Raise your eyebrows there, Paul. I love it. So, Paul, let me tell you what happened to me this morning at 3 o'clock, and I really, truly got angry. In fact, I was going to make about an 8 to 10 minute YouTube video about it, which I'm still going to do. I'm probably going to sleep a little bit on it. I wanted to have this conversation with you. I intentionally didn't tell you what it was. You probably are aware of it. Greg, I know, is going to eat this one up. But I read an article that AAR wrote this morning, and I had heard some inklings about this, but I wasn't really sure what had happened. And now I can hear listeners now saying, well, get on with it. All right, let me get on with it. Because, guys, this is really, really, really bad. So I'm going to take you over to X. Virginia, Paul, we've been talking about for months now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Virginia, we are all Virginians now, ladies and gentlemen. We had, of course, Phil Van Cleve, the president of Virginia Citizens Defense League, on the show earlier in the week. It was a great interview. If you missed it, go back and watch it or listen on podcast. It is up. But the Virginia State Police Superintendent, Colonel Jeffrey S. Katz, put a tweet out yesterday, Greg, listeners, Paul. And let me read this tweet. I'll read you the heading first, and then I'll read you the message from Katz himself. The Virginia State Police would like to ensure residents of the Commonwealth that recent viral posts raising concerns about firearm confiscation are not reflective of any proposed legislation, and we remain committed to safeguarding public safety and civil liberties. Now, let me go deeper and give you the actual statement from Katz himself.
But
hold on. Hold that but. Hold that thought. The Virginia State Police is aware of recent online sentiment expressing concern that proposed firearms-related legislation will ultimately lead to the door-to-door confiscation of people's firearms. I want to speak to this clearly and plainly. There is no legislative proposal seeking to do this, and there will not be. VSP, Virginia State Police, works each day to enhance safety and protect civil liberties. Those liberties were not granted by government and will not be impeded by government. Not now, not ever. Activity of this nature is, by its very nature, un-American. Superintendent Colonel Jeffrey S. Katz of the Virginia State Police. Paul, yes, and I'm glad you did that, but I'm going to go through some of these comments that are going to blow your mind. And I'll tell you why I'm angry about that. You wouldn't think that that statement would anger me, but oh, it's why it had to be put up. Paul, take that away.
It sounds like what you should hear from the leader of a law enforcement agency. I'm always, trepidatious when these people, especially the commandants, superintendents, what the czar, whatever they call themselves, of the head of the state police, which, it's funny, back during the, you and I lived through the Cold War, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Soviet Union, they all had state police, and we saw those as like huge problems, But in the United States, we're like, oh no, state police are your friends. Are they?
Okay. Hold on. Are they? Are they? Because you are absolutely right with what you just said. My initial takeaway from that when I read that this morning was, woohoo, yay. No. Then it hit me. And I had no choice but to respond to that. And my response was, all of this due to Democrats. Get real, folks. This post would have never been made had it not been for Democrats and their rabid, unconstitutional push for erosion of your Second Amendment civil liberties. This is the garbage they want for you everywhere. Virginia Dems must be stopped. SCOTUS must step in, take an assault weapons ban case before them right now, and smack these losers right upside the face with a rolled-up copy of the Bill of Rights. The DOJ must also get involved. Copied in at Harmeet Dillon. It's time. Paul, the fact that the state police superintendent felt it necessary to even make this post is what has my blood absolutely boiling. Now, I want to read you a quote. Greg, how much time do I have? We're going to fly through this day today. I know we are, but this is too important.
You've got a minute 10.
Okay. From a Louis Valdez from Real Florida, at Real Florida Gun Lobby. And we'll read more of these responses. As a former cop, this raises serious concerns for me. There are good cops, but history shows some will follow orders simply to protect their career. Now, Paul, I don't have time to go on with more of those. We'll cover some more of these responses to this tweet when we come back from the break. But Louis Valdez at Real Florida Gun Lobby is absolutely correct as well. And that's why when I saw you say, wow, are they? Are they? Most are. I will hand to them. Most are. And I feel certain that a large percentage of Virginia State Police feel the way the superintendent does. You have 30 seconds. But what about the ones that don't, Paul? Let's go there. Let's have the convo.
Okay. For everybody that wants to live in the magical world of illusion, go back 5 years.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going.
Just go back 5 years.
Yeah. COVID.
4 years.
COVID.
And that's all you need to know.
Virginia State Police are different than New Jersey State Police, are different than New York State Police, are different than California Highway Patrol, are different than Georgia State Police, are different than Maryland State Police, are different than Florida State Police and Texas Department of Public Safety troopers. This depends on where you live. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to tackle Virginia again because guess what? Virginia has been Californicated, New Yorkized. We'll be right back. Folks, get involved in the comments on this today. I would love to hear from you, your thoughts on this. Texas Huntsman is in there. Texas Huntsman is always in there. We love you, TX Huntsman. Katrina, he reminds us. Katrina. That's all I have to say. Never forget Katrina. And we never will forget Katrina. Those of you who are old enough to remember back in 2005, of course, and we're talking, 21 years ago already, hard to believe. But I have to throw this reminder out to you, ladies and gentlemen. It was Alan Gottlieb and the Second Amendment Foundation that stopped the door-to-door confiscation of firearms during Katrina. Alan Gottlieb personally took that upon himself and immediately fired up that lawsuit and put a stop to that nonsense. But this is very, very scary stuff, and the mere fact that this tweet, or that the tweet, post, whatever you want to call it, X, formerly known as Twitter, whatever you want to call it, the mere fact that the Virginia State Police Superintendent felt it necessary to put that out is extremely telling. And it speaks to you. I don't want to get too much of this out during the break because that's a no-no in radio. You don't want to talk about it because once it comes out, it's kind of hard to get it back out. But I feel certain that enough anger in both of us, Paul and I, and Greg, and you as well, we're not going to have any shortage of words here. The YouTube video that I put out on this is not going to be FCC friendly. And I'm having to contain myself on this right now, sadly, because I can't tell you over the airwaves exactly what I want to say about this. But I want you to think about it in this perspective. The mere fact that the superintendent of the VSP felt it necessary to put this out says lots of things about what's going on in Virginia. It's that important. And for those of you who have questioned why we talk so much about Virginia lately, well, two reasons. Number one, it's my show, and I believe it's that important. And number two, it's that important because this is what they have in store for you if the Democrats take power at the federal level. We'll be back right after this, guys. I apologize for any video buffering. Join today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. I do apologize. We've got some buffering going on with the video, and there's not much we can do about that. If you choose to go to guns, you go right ahead and do that. That means go to the radio. If you're watching the show live until the buffering stops, I'm sure the internet will stop doing what it's doing at some point. In the meantime, you can listen to the show clearly on your radio dial, and you can do that also over at armedamericanradio.com by clicking on Listen Live. Paul Markel, student of the gun, welcome back in. Guys, you know to join the National Rifle Association. You know we're going to be there all next week. Well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if you're going to be there, make sure to stop by the booth, 3351. Say hey to us, and I'll likely mic a few of you up. That will be an awful lot of fun. We have a lot to talk about and cover. We'll be there doing interviews throughout the 3 days. Paul Markel, welcome back in, my brother. So let's go back to this, because it's, as I was mentioning to some folks during the break, and Texas Huntsman, guys, if you would, get involved in the comments here. I'll read them on air. It's that important. Texas Huntsman made it clear. He said, Katrina. That's all I have to say is Katrina. Paul.
Well, Katrina was a tiny little thing. I know the NRA made a lot of money over the Katrina thing, but that was like on a nationwide scale, it was tiny. What we should be more concerned about is the behavior of your sheriff, your chief of police, your local cops during COVID. Mm-hmm. All right, if you think about it, what's more dangerous, a virus or an unregistered gun? Right? So they were able to mentally justify. I've stopped counting because it was going to give me a heart attack. Innumerable acts of tyranny. And it wasn't just New York and it was like, oh, well, yeah, California and New Jersey, but everywhere else it was. No, it wasn't. It was nationwide. Mm-hmm. Kentucky. Yeah. Remember Louisville? Yep. The chief of police sending his stormtroopers out to the church on Easter? Yeah, to photograph license plates so they could fine people for going to church on Easter. All right, if they're willing to fine you for going to church on Easter.
And they did. They went door to door and found them. They did do that. They went door to door and found those folks. That's absolutely correct. Don't forget that, ladies and gentlemen. Paul speaks truth. Paul speaks truth.
Yeah, and people are like, well, that was a long time ago. That wasn't that long ago. And the biggest problem we have in the United States is that there has not been a reckoning from COVID. If there would have been a reckoning, and I mean punishment, mm-hmm. I mean people being held responsible for their tyrannical criminal behavior, then we would not have this situation we're in today. But we do, because Americans, by and large, are a bunch of freaking cowards. They're intellectual cowards. Let's face facts. They are.
No, I'm not going to argue that. No, I'm not. No. Hold on. No, I'm not going to argue that. But I do. I want to take that. Actually, I want to take that further. And I'm going to pick on some of you in Virginia right now. And I'm going to use the gerrymandering to do it, because many of you have spoken up. And Virginia Republicans will tell you, if Phil Van Cleve head of VCDL, which, by the way, guys, you need to join them. It's $25. You need to join them at this point. If you need to join them, like I have, and have for a long time, been a member. You need to do that. VCDL.org. We're going to continue to push that. This is why they need the help. But, Paul, when it comes to the gerrymandering and the coward issue, all right, and I'm not forgetting about the accountability here also. I do want to go back to that. But the response to the gerrymandering from the governor in Virginia now has been overwhelming by Republicans, by the Republican base. That's great. I'm glad. Where the hell were they on Election Day in November?
Yeah, why do we have to wait? Why is it always we have to wait until there's a crisis? You know, we are so terrible about always being on the defensive. We always wait until we're under attack, until we're just about, we're just about to lose our rights, and they're like, oh, we better do something now. Where were you? And, how many of these politicians, how many of these chiefs of police, how many of these sheriffs who way overstepped their boundaries during COVID, who used it as a power grab, as an excuse How many of those people have been fired, terminated, gotten rid of? How many of them are still in their jobs? Let's face facts, man. We've got a population that is afraid to talk about COVID. Oh, can't we just, even the people, these minority that didn't take the shots and stuff, they're like, well, there's no point in talking about it. I mean, it's over and it happened, but no, it's not over. I'll tell you why it's not over. It's not over because the people who use that as a way to gain power for themselves, to overstep their authority, to abuse their fellow citizens, have not been called to account. And the idea that, well, the chief of police won't overstep his boundaries and won't crap on the Second Amendment if he thinks I have an unregistered assault weapon. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. They were harassing people for not wearing masks and being walking in the park. If they think you have an unregistered rifle, they will kick your door down, kill your dog, your kids, your wife, so that they can enforce the rules. And sad but true, hey, let's face facts, Mark. Mm-hmm. How many feds have been held accountable for murdering the wife and child of Randy Weaver?
None.
That would be zero.
Yeah, I spoke with Sarah Weaver personally. I interviewed her in Utah at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. She's been a guest on my program. I've had one-on-one conversations with her. I have sat and prayed with her husband and her family. And I am very well aware of what hasn't been done and the accountability factor there on a personal, intimate level. And it is horrendous. And it's not just that. I could give you countless examples of this throughout multiple administrations. Okay?
The AFT's not been held accountable
Never.
Under the Trump administration for the murder of the air traffic controller in Arkansas.
He was the executive director of the airport.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, the executive. Yeah. They haven't been held accountable. Not one of those people has been held accountable. So don't delude yourself in Virginia thinking, well, the chief of police in my town's a pretty good guy. He probably wouldn't do that. Really?
Until his pension's on the line. And I don't like. Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, hold on. This is something I don't like to say, but there has been ample evidence of this over the years, ladies and gentlemen. There has been countless examples of this over the years. You are right to be fearful. You absolutely must be. In fact, if you're not, you're letting down our founding fathers who built this government on exactly that. Fear.
20.
That's exactly what it was built on. That's why you have the rights you have. It's why you have a Bill of Rights, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation with Paul. And I want to remind you what he did for a living before he sits there in his garage with you on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. We'll be right back.
Clear that throat.
segment of Armed there. Okay, for those of you on the live stream, we had that muted for you only because we were having some buffering. So it looks like when we did that, it worked. So we're back at you solid. Let me go back to this Harmeet Dillon tweet, which broke right before airtime. At Spanberger for VA is on notice. 2A rights shall not be infringed. We are closely watching. In the event any unlawful legislation is enacted, we will sue. At Civil Rights will protect the 2A rights of law-abiding citizens in Virginia. 2A section lawyers are standing by. Now, she has attached a letter to the Honorable Spanberger sent on April 10th, 2026. That is today. Dear Governor Spanberger, this letter provides formal notice that the Civil Rights Division will commence litigation in the event the Commonwealth of Virginia enacts certain bills that unconstitutionally limit law-abiding Americans' individual right to bear arms, specifically SB 749 as written. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and Paul, for everybody's benefit, SB 749 in Virginia is the quote-unquote assault firearms ban bill that was written by a Bangladeshi, now an American citizen, who is telling you how to live your life in the state of Virginia. I just wanted to make that point. Why? Because it's true. Would require Virginia law enforcement agencies to engage in a practice of unconstitutionally restricting the making, buying, or selling of AR-15s and many other semi-automatic firearms in common use. President Trump issued Executive Order 14206, making clear that this administration will take affirmative steps to ensure that Second Amendment rights must not be infringed. Immediately after I was sworn in as Assistant Attorney General overseeing the Civil Rights Division, I launched the department's first ever investigation into practices alleged to violate law-abiding citizens' Second Amendment rights. Since then, the Civil Rights Division has formally created a Second Amendment section, and we have brought Second Amendment cases in U.S. district courts and U.S. courts of appeals across the country. Our Second Amendment section will take necessary action within our legal authority to protect law-abiding citizens' Second Amendment rights. The Second Amendment protects the rights of law-abiding citizens to own and use AR-15 style semi-automatic rifles for lawful purposes. Just last year, Supreme Court made clear in a unanimous opinion that the AR-15 is, quote, both widely legal and bought by many ordinary consumers. That was the Smith & Wesson brands via Estados Unidos Mexicanos. See also Garland v. Cargill. Sotomayor, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, dissented there. AR-15s are commonly available semi-automatic rifles. That's a quote from SCOTUS. Unfortunately, Virginia appears poised to infringe on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens to enjoy and use AR-15 rifles for lawful purposes by making it a crime to purchase and sell them. The Civil Rights Division will seek to enjoin any attempt to infringe the right of law-abiding Virginians to acquire. And let me move over to the second page and read this too. I'm going to go ahead and read this through, Paul, and then we'll go into it. Constitutionally protected arms that are possessed by literally tens of millions of Americans. In addition, laws that require constitutionally protected firearms owned by law-abiding citizens for lawful purposes to be maintained in an inoperable state are unconstitutional. See D.C. v. Heller. The district's requirements that firearms in the home be rendered and kept inoperable at all times is also unconstitutional. We are aware that the Virginia General Assembly has forwarded to you several bills that, if enacted as currently written, would mirror the unconstitutional restrictions struck down in Heller 18 years ago. There are also other provisions contained in those bills that otherwise prevent lawful use of constitutionally protected arms for self-defense. In all, the General Assembly has forwarded to you over 20 bills that restrict Second Amendment rights. I urge you to reconsider allowing any bill that would infringe on the lawful use of protected firearms by law-abiding citizens to become law. In an effort to avoid unnecessary litigation, the Second Amendment section stands ready to meet and confer with attorneys in the Virginia Attorney General's office. Your counsel may contact Acting Chief Andrew Darlington at blank. The Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens shall not be infringed. Sincerely, Harmeet K. Dillon. Paul Markel, student of the gun.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, man, you are the ultimate pessimist. No, I'm like that insurance guy, I don't know which one it is, that say, we know some things because we've seen some things. I know some things because I've seen some things. In my adult life, we've seen rampant abuse of the people by the government. I mean, let's go back to, we go back to Ruby Ridge. We could go back to Waco. We could go to the Obama administration flooding the Mexican drug cartels deliberately, purposely, and knowingly with guns, and then looking at the American consumer and saying, this is your fault. Mm-hmm. No one in the DOJ, Eric Holder, Comrade Barry on down, has been held accountable. None of them lost their jobs, lost their pensions, should have gone to jail. Let's face facts. If you haven't read the book Guns Across the Border or Operation Wide Receiver by Mike Detty, you're wrong. You should read that book. But none of those people who violated the rights of the American people have seen any type of, quote, justice. So when I hear these people talk, I'm like, that's cool. And when people are arrested, then I'll believe you. When people are held accountable, when politicians are held accountable for their abuses of the people, then I will believe you. But until then, I won't believe you. Call me, say I'm from Missouri, and I need you to show me, because I don't believe it.
Yeah, and I don't blame you for that, and I certainly would not call you a pessimist. Well, yeah, okay. You have every right to be a pessimist. There's no question about it. Guys, look, ladies and gentlemen, the problem that we have at this point, and I love everything that Harmeet Dillon said, and I trust the Civil Rights Division is going to act on this. I trust that they're going to, because I've seen the directive. We know what the executive order has been. We've seen the statements coming out. Those were very bold words coming from Harmeet Dillon, directed at Spanberger. Now, when we come back from this break, I'm going to make a prediction, Paul, on what I think Spanberger is going to do after being in, number one, she's very well of that tweet from the superintendent of her state police, number one. And number two, she's also very well aware of the tweet storm that's been taking place over this today. And number three, she's very well aware of the content of that letter. There's no question about it. And I'm going to make a prediction as to what I think she's going to do when we come back with Paul Markel, student of the gun. We have one more segment to go. And again, if you're watching the program, I apologize for having the mic muted. We've got a little bit of buffering, no big deal. BudsGunShop.com. That's what you missed when my mic was muted. They're great guys. Check them out, BudsGunShop.com. We'll be right back. Hey, guys. Welcome back. I want to apologize for the video buffering. I think we've got a handle on why it's doing that on my end, and it's my fault. I can't blame the internet. I'm not going to do that. There's some browser extensions that are running in the background that make the video what it's doing now very choppy, and I apologize for that. That will be fixed on Sunday because it's my fault. Okay, there's a browser window that I should have opened to use that I did not because I was in a hurry, and that, again, I take full responsibility for that. But this is, after all, a radio show, and you can visit, listen live, and hear us crystal clear, and still watch us if you want to do that. And we'll fix that problem for you for the Monster Cast. I can promise you that. Thanks for sticking with us. We do appreciate it very much.
Only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Here it is, guys. Here's the lawyer I carry around in my pocket right here in the form of this little card, attorneysonretainer.us. Here's the rules right here on the back side of it. Here it is on the front with my identification information on it and my account, because I'm a client, and you should be too. attorneysonretainer.us, attorneysonretainer.us. Guys, if you're carrying a firearm for self-defense, have an attorney in your pocket. It's that simple. Use that promo code AAR, whether you visit attorneysonretainer.us/AAR or you just use the AAR promo code. Take your pick. You're going to save $25 on the sign-up, and it's only $37 a month for an attorney. If, God forbid, the worst day of your life happens to you and you need to defend yourself with that firearm, you have an attorney in your hip pocket. attorneysonretainer.us. And don't forget, do your shopping over at Bud's. They've got everything you need, every accessory you need. They're our exclusive online retailer. We love them. We're going to be broadcasting live up there not too long after the NRA convention. We're talking with the great folks over at Bud's earlier today. Joseph and Nick, great people over there, all of them, George. They're all great guys. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that they believe in your right to keep and bear arms. They have everything you need, and you need and want everything they have. They're our exclusive online retailer for a reason, and have been for quite some time, and we love them. BudsGunShop.com, BudsGunShop.com. And all of our great partners, you can find them all, every single one of them, including Blackout Coffee. That QR code up there is blackoutcoffee.com. If you saw my Facebook post today, they delivered it right to my door here at the studio. And it was such a beautiful thing. I had to take a photograph of it because, it was right on my doormat that says, come back with a warrant or level 4 plates. And you know what Meta AI had to say about the level 4 plates? They said, well, it seems to be a tongue-in-cheek something about plates. Not the plates that are level 4, but plates that you eat off of.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it didn't quite get it, but that's okay. It made for fodder, and it was fun. Anyway, guys, make sure to check him out, blackoutcoffee.com. Paul Markel, student of gun. Welcome back in, brother. Messy situation in the state of Virginia. I'll go back to what I said prior to the break. Okay, look, Spanberger's well aware of this. I'm going to make a prediction. The tyrant she is, she's going to sign every single one of those bills just to smack Harmeet Dillon and the Trump administration in the face. She is not going to rethink her position on this whatsoever. She is going to claim these were passed by the Virginia State Legislature, and I'm going to sign them. Care to take it? What do you think?
No, absolutely right. The people of the United States need to understand that these governors have been installed not by them. If you think that, look across the world, the people who are in charge, the Prime Minister of Australia, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of England, these people were not installed by you. They're not installed by the voters. They're chosen. And they're chosen to do the will of whatever you want to call it, the deep state, the New World Order, whatever. They don't represent you. They don't represent. Look at that hag up in Michigan. Look at the hag and hey, let's go. Can we go ahead and pump the brakes here for a second? And why are we experiencing in the United States all this tyranny coming from women? Didn't it seem like, I don't know, why is it that women are such good tyrants? That's a longer story.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, like Greg just said, that's a whole other show, and I'm not interested in tackling that one right now, and we certainly don't have time. But I do. Let me address the women aspect here, the woman aspect, only in the sense of we're talking about Spanberger. It is widely known that Spanberger has, let's say, designs on higher office. And as Phil Van Cleve pointed out from Virginia Citizens Defense League earlier in the week, she was chosen to give the rebuttal to the State of the Union. That was not by accident. That's not done by accident. This woman wants to run for president. Now, I feel pretty confident that Harmeet Dillon, that Donald Trump, et cetera, and the Republican Party are very well aware of that. But as I read Harmeet Dillon's statements, which I loved, by the way, and I believe that she will follow through with that for a number of different reasons. I know she's paying attention. I know that for a fact. I've seen responses to her from my tweets, so I know she is. But I got to say this. It's only because it's Spanberger. Where was the DOJ? Where was the AG when Connecticut does it? When Massachusetts did it? When Washington does it? When Maryland does it? Now, granted, a lot of these cases predate Trump, at least this administration, but not the first one. Why now? Why the push today and not then?
Well, Mark, I can answer part of that for you. From the why would she do it? Going back to what I said earlier, the politicians will always do whatever they think they can get away with.
Of course. Right?
They will grab as much power as they think they can get away with. And the reason that I'm sure you're probably right about this vile hag in Virginia is that she's not afraid of the voters of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've gerrymandered and they've jury-rigged and gerrymandered the process so that she doesn't have to be afraid of the voters.
Right.
She doesn't have to be responsible to the voters. So if she's not afraid of the voters, if she's not afraid of voter backlash, then what's to keep her in check?
Really nothing.
Exactly.
Which is why I made the prediction that I made. Spanberger will take that as a direct threat. And that's what's going to make her sign these bills. She has not signed these bills yet. But I will not be shocked if she has signed them by the weekend as a result of the pressure that she is under now from the Virginia State Police and Harmeet Dillon in the administration. I would not be surprised if she signs. I wouldn't be surprised if I see signatures on those bills tonight as a result of this. That's the way this woman plays pool. And it's the way the Democrats play pool. They will force their taxpayer money to be used in court.
Well, they believe in their black and disgusting hearts that things like the Bill of Rights, it only applies when they want it to apply.
Yeah.
They truly believe that they have a mandate to do whatever they want. Constitution be damned. Bill of Rights be damned. The people are too stupid to know what's good for them. We know better than they do. And at the end of the day, what is it about their agenda that requires us to be disarmed?
Paul, the two of us have been asking that question together over the airwaves for nearly 20 years. And today's a good day to remind you of that, ladies and gentlemen. When you lay your head down on your pillow tonight, really give that some thought. What is it about Spanberger's agenda and the Democrats' agenda that made them go haywire and come after your guns the moment they got elected? What is it about that agenda? You think about that, and you'll be able to come up with the answer. You already know what it is. Requires a little bit of honesty. Paul Markel, SOTGU.com. I'm going to put that out there for you. I love you because we're running out of time. Thank you very much for being here, as always. Paul Markel, SOTGU.com. Guys, we're going to get up and do it again on Sunday on the Monster Cast. We'll have the video fixed for you. I love you. Stay safe. See you on the radio.
You just filled your prescription for freedom on
All right, guys, I want to apologize. Like I said before, if you're watching on the stream, you're the only ones that can hear it. The radio's cut off. I want to apologize for the video buffering. That was on my end, and I know the mistake that I made here. We won't do that on Sunday for you. Just moving a little bit too quick today, and it made a little snafu there, okay? Just a little mistake. Should have opened it up in a private browser window for you for the video production software, which eliminates a lot of nonsense running in the background, and it's that stuff that runs in the background and extensions that you don't even know exist that will buffer the video. And as you can tell right now, the video looks to be fine. Why? Because we're not live. That's just the way it always works. Anyway, I love each and every one of you. Pay very careful attention to what's happening in Virginia. Make sure to join vcdl.org. What we're talking about, this is exactly why. We need, there's power in numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Help us. Join. It's $25 for a year to become a member. That way you can sign the petitions, you can get all the information, and if we don't stop these tyrants dead in their tracks in Virginia, it's coming to your state. I can promise you that, because this is what they have in store for you when they, and eventually they will, at some point, history proves that, regain power in Washington, D.C. Put a stop to it now before that happens. We can win this battle. The DOJ is on our side. The cavalry is coming. But we need help to do it. The more people we have, the faster we can get it taken care of and nip this crap in the bud. And the only thing I have to say to the Supreme Court of the United States is get off your ass, get something done. You've had ample opportunity to take one of these gun ban bills, and you have failed to do so. Now, pay attention. Do it. Get it done, and slap them in the head with a copy of the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution. You can do it now. There's 4 cases sitting before you. Take one of them. Armed American Radio will return on Sunday's Monstercast. No doubt we'll have more to say about this, and there will no doubt be more information coming out about this, what is going to be an ongoing story. No question about it. Thanks, guys, for being here. It's Friday. We'll let Greg get out of here. You guys enjoy your weekend. I'm going to try to do the same thing, and I'll see you on the radio on Sunday's Monstercast.